also Deborah Kobylt live. I am honored to present to you Joe Farruggio. Joe is an entrepreneur, a restaurateur, and so much more. He likes to call himself a pizza man. Your restaurants in and around DC, Il Canale, 90-second pizza, and also A Modo Mio, which means my way. And you've been doing things your way for quite some time. Thanks for joining us, Joe.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Deborah.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. And I'd love to give a shout out to our friend Amy Riolo, who introduced us. She's
Yes.
lovely, and she's going to be on our show again
Wonderful.
sometime soon, talking about her latest book. So thank you again to Amy, our dear friend. So, Joe, let's talk. Gosh, there's lots to talk about. The book, first of all, is a wonderful history of you, but not just your businesses and your successes, but also some of the times in your life that weren't so easy. And you start your book from when you were back in Italy as a young person, and you came over on the ship Michelangelo. And I thought to myself, now, isn't that an interesting metaphor, right? Michelangelo was, of course, well known for his art, and you're so well known for your pizzas. So talk to me a little bit about those early days, would you?
Yes, yes. Well, I grew up in a very tiny, small little town in Sicily called Castrofilippo, very agricultural town, 5,000 people. I would say, in the 50s, it was like almost third world country in Sicily. It was right after the war. Things that were not really well. I mean, there was no food, but everything was in not in a good financial, healthy, and didn't have anything like these days. It was pretty scarce. But my uncle came and told my father if he wants to come to America, so he sponsored us, and we just wait for the process. And that was, when he came, I was about 10 years old, and in my mind, I had this thing that I was going to come to America, And my uncle described America like a candy store. It's like, I see America like a candy store. There was a lot of candy, being 10 years old and in a poor sort of a small town. And I was just fantasizing, dreaming of America. And until the time came, when 1969, they call us, so we went through the whole process of the immigration and came to New York.
Yeah. New York. Now, what was it like? What were your first job? What was your first job there?
Well, first when the Michelangelo was approaching the Statue of Liberty, I was seeing New York, and I'm like, everybody's going to have fun.
Yeah, you were quite the party guy. I didn't realize that.
I couldn't wait to get off the ship, because the whole week in the ship was fun, because it was entertainment. It's like being on a cruise. It was really nice. Coming from, like I said, from my place, it was not much, and I'm like, whoa, I couldn't wait, and I was gonna get up early and look for changes in the street, and well, that was really, I loved America right away. I think I didn't suffer at all. I didn't miss my country. I missed few friends, and which one of them came 2 weeks later. So we were two of us in New York. So we team up, and I had a friend, and so I wasn't much of. And another beautiful thing happens. The next day, I get out. I end up in the Bronx on my aunt and my uncle's house, which my uncle's got the same last name as me, and in Hone Avenue in the Bronx. And I was walking outside the street, dressed up like an Italian, and I got to the corner, and there was about 3 young guys my age, and they go, "Hey, are you Italian?" In Italian. And I'm like, I look at myself and said, can you tell?
That's so funny. What did you say? What did you say?
Yeah. So of course I had to say, how do you know in Italian? can you tell that I'm Italian? Say, we look at you, you look like you just got off the boat, and that's what has just happened. It's just, and
Oh, I love
from
it.
that moment on, I never really, I have friends and I started, friendly and working and in the pizza shop. My aunt got me a job 3 days later in the pizza shop, and it was funny because I never wear an apron, being, grew up in a farm and, in a small
Right.
town, no, not in the service business, and it was really funny to be behind the counter. But, I had a teacher, my teacher, they teach me how to speak English and said that, if they go one, it means uno. If they're sort of like speeding on you, it's two. And
Oh,
that
that's so
was
funny.
that was my English first two language, two words, and selling pizza, and they started getting into it, and then a few days later you get an offer that you make $10 more a week, and I changed to painters. Then I was making put tiles, assistant tile maker, work in
Right.
the body shop, and a lot of different jobs. But every time, I was another job, all I end up in the pizza. So pizza
Pizza.
was pulling
Always the
me.
pizza. You were
Pizza
also
was
a
pulling me.
tax. Pizza was pulling you.
Yeah.
But you were also a taxi driver. Is that true?
Yes, during
I love
the
that.
Robert De Niro movie, I thought was put some excitement into my life. I get some taxi driving, so maybe something happened to me like the movie, But I did it for
Ah,
about 6 months. For about
wasn't for
six
you.
months. No, it wasn't for me. I mean, it probably wouldn't be okay if I would be able to buy the metal at that time. It was pretty expensive, but
That's something a lot of people don't know. These taxi drivers have to buy the medallion, and it's
that.
quite expensive. In
Oh
fact,
yeah,
not long ago, I was in a taxi in New York, and I think he said his medallion cost him $1 million. I thought, oh my
yeah,
gosh, it's like buying a house.
yeah,
So please, people, tip your taxi drivers well. But let's stay on course with
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Let's stay on course with you and making pizza. So you always ended up going back to making pizzas and
yeah,
being
making pizza.
around pizza.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when was it? When was it that you decided, you know what? I don't want to just work in a shop. I want to have a shop because
yeah,
your
yeah,
first pizzeria was down in Washington, D.C. Like what happened in between New York and D.C.?
yeah, yeah. What happened is that I was working in New York, and I had people that lived in New York. They left in New York, and they went to Georgia, Florida, or they will come back to see their family, and they say, "Oh, this pizza is so good. I wish you could make a pizza like this, like the Zamble in Georgia, in Texas." They were planting the seeds in my mind. I'm like, wow. I mean, this is here. There's a lot of in New York. There was a lot of good pizza places in the '70s, and that means that there's no other. Outside New York, there's not enough. So I was planting a seed in my head that I want to get out of New York. I said, eventually I'm going to get out of New York and trying to find opportunity a different way. And I was working this job in Brooklyn, and then my boss was promised me to sell him his pizza shop when he retired. And I thought he was going to retire in a year, 2 year, 3 year,
Right.
years. He's still not retiring because he figured, why retire? If I was working for him, he didn't have to do nothing.
Ah,
So, and eventually I took a look in New York at this paper. Now they're called Oggi, the newspaper. They used to be Progresso, Il Progresso newspaper. And I found a job there, and I called. I call it in three different places in Chicago and Texas and Virginia. And the guy from Virginia, he sort of we were connected better. And I took the job, and I came to Virginia and worked for him. And the place was not open yet. I opened it for him, and 6 months later, well, less than 6 months, but within 2 3 months, the place they had line and reviews in newspaper.
wow.
It was a really really hit, and I approached him to say, hey, I came here because I want to start my own business. If you sell me half of your business, I get my brother here, and we can grow and open other stores. And he was, he said, no, I'll sell you 25%. I says, I'm gone. At the same time,
Wow.
I had a night. I would just after work, I would just drive around, and I had find a place that I want to start it. That I could have begin to do it with no money, really. I mean, I didn't have any money.
Wow. So
And
how'd you do it? How'd you do it?
there was this beautiful little location. There was a frozen custard, stop in this Route 1 in Virginia. There was a lot of traffic. And I saw there was a lot of cars there, but the people in the car, they were much hang out for young guys. And the place was always empty.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
went in there and I said, I heard this place is for sale. He says, who told you that? I says, either it is or it isn't. It doesn't matter. He said, yes, it is for sale. So I negotiated to buy his place. It was for $20,000 with $5,000 down, and I assume the lease with $200 a month rent. It was very, very, doable. So between me and my brother, we were able to put that $5,000, and then a couple more thousand we got it from friends and stuff. And I went to buy an oven, in credit. I took the user equipment. He gave me credit. I give him, I think, a couple $100, and I give him the rest later. And then we were shopping at the supermarket for stuff for the first couple of days until because I had no credit. No, everybody wants to get paid. And eventually, I had a company that gave me some credit. It says you pay. I would drop it off one delivery, and you pay me next delivery. And
Wow.
and that's how it got started. And today, and the rest is history, I guess. The rest is
Yeah, but
yeah,
in hearing these stories, you were clearly born for real an entrepreneur, right?
yeah.
Nobody taught you this. It was in your
No,
head.
no,
You came to New York. You wanted to do something better,
yeah,
something bigger. You wanted to
yeah.
move on. It's that's a skill, but that's also something you're born with. Were your parents like that back in Italy? What did they do?
No, my father was a farmer. He was a farmer. He was growing. He was sort of a small, independent farmer. But for himself in a way. We will produce and sell it. At the end of the year. Uh, I think also I think as America,
Yes.
live in America, it gives you the booster because
Yeah.
when I had the little place and people loved it,
Yeah.
because they loved my pizza, they loved my subs. I had invented the sausage roll that I used to do in New York, and they loved it. And they said, "Well, you should open another place. You should open." I mean, I didn't have that in my mind, but they put
Right.
the seeds in my mind. You should
Right.
open another place, and I was like, "Oh, I mean, I'm really appreciate. I'm that good." And that means maybe I should open a bigger place. Maybe so. It's like America. It got me, developed me in a way. Pushed me towards
Yeah.
towards. I mean, I think if you give it your hands to America, it gives you the whole body. I mean,
Yeah, especially back in those times, right? Everyone was sort of developing. They were coming off boats. They were new to America, and
yeah.
opportunities I think might have been a little bit easier. I think for people who were just coming over, or for
Yeah.
people who knew how to work the system, right? What do you think?
Well, I didn't know how to work the system. So I learned. I made all the mistakes necessary to make. I,
Right.
I mean, everything. And for me, it was I was concentrating on making the best pizza that I can make and sell it for the best price that I could sell it. And at the end of the week, there was a little left over, it was ours. And
Yeah.
that's the way it was, pretty much. It wasn't no employees. It was me, my brother, and my brother-in-law, and
Yeah.
$200 a.
Let's talk about the restaurant that you opened in Georgetown, which was a major hit. First of all, brilliant to open in Georgetown, right? I read in
Yeah.
your book, you said, you looked around, there wasn't exactly a large Italian or Italian American population there. And you thought,
Yeah.
I can open one here, right? That was also kind of a quick hit, right? So talk to us about that.
Georgetown it's the dime of Washington D.C.
Oh
But
yeah,
everybody that goes to Washington D.C. they really go to Georgetown for a walk, for a drink, for a meal. I mean, it's a place where people just comes to they want to spend money, really much
yeah,
ready to buy some fun, some entertainment, pretty much, and do something. And so we were right there, with the tourists. But because my product, I'm always, for me the product it have to be good, number one, and the clean ambience, clean bathroom, everything, nice and clean. I was to be able to conquer the neighborhood too, the
yeah.
locals. So, there's a lot of restaurants out there that just work with tourists, but I got the locals, and then I started getting
Smart.
the Italian embassy, the World Bank, all the Italian Air Force, the Navy, all the Italian uh, people, all the professional Italian, they were coming to my place. So I was really, accepted,
Yeah. You also have a famous quote, right, that you said about Georgetown. Let me find that. Um,
from
oh my goodness. Say it again.
a small town to Georgetown.
Small town to Georgetown. I do love that. You're known for that quote. I love that. And you're
Yeah,
also known as the pizza man in Georgetown. Now, you've had a collection of people walk through your doors, right?
uh-huh.
Bipartisan, let's just call it, right?
Yeah,
Everyone from Hillary to the Obama girls to the Trump family to movie star Harrison Ford. Gosh, when they walk through your doors, who were you sort of most excited to meet?
well, the good thing and the bad thing is that usually I'm not there when they come. I was there when the second, the third time the Harrison Ford came. I was there when the First Lady of France came, and a few others, not the not major people that are not really known, but yeah, all the other time, I'm not there, and I think a good thing, one think about me that I'll be able to run a restaurant in this level, and I am in Florida for 3 months,
Oh,
and 2 months
and
in Italy,
Naples too. And
in
you're
Naples,
in
Florida.
Naples,
Yes,
Florida. I love that. I
the
wanted
other
to say,
Naples.
hey, exactly. You're at the other Naples. So what a life you've built for yourself. Part of the time, Georgetown. Part of the time, Naples, Florida. Other part of the time, you're home in Sicily, right?
Yes, yes, yes. It's
Yeah.
really I could not, if they would have told me design your life, I would not be able to. But just keeping building on one step at a time, and
And I love your attitude. I love that. You build one step at a time. You've been positive. You had fun. What I love about the book, by the way, I want to talk about the other two restaurants too. I'm not going to forget. But what I love about the book is you also talk about some really tough times, right? Your divorce from your first wife, and you have three sons with your first wife. And you talk about that. You talk about some tough times, that some personal struggles you had when you decided to stop drinking. That's why this book is so special, because you talk about everything, your successes, and how you also turn some tough times into something very positive for you, which is always the measure of someone's success, because you don't take it and bring it down, you take it and make something of it. You are now happily married to your second wife, your beautiful wife. And I know that one of your sons, right, works in the business with you, correct?
yes. Yes, my son, which is he went to Virginia Tech, graduated in finance, and is a certified accountant. He went to work for Deloitte for 1 year, and then he told me, he says, "Dad, I want to work with you." And I said, "No,
Wow.
you better work another year or two there, learn more, because this is tough business." I said, "I
Yeah.
don't want." He says, "No, I'm ready. I'm ready to come work, with you." And
Mm.
I was lucky that at the time he came to work, I had a really, really an excellent manager, an excellent general manager, that he had just helped me to move my business from mom and pop, even if it was really successful and with a lot of going on, it was my hands was all over the place. I was
Right.
mega management, they could call it, just and he helped me to move from mom and pop to sort of a company. He says you can't operate a restaurant if you're worried about the dishwasher, worried about how they cut the
That's
onions.
true.
He
That's
says you
actually
got
very, yeah.
yeah. So he helped me to move it from that to that, and that's my son. He had just started working in there, so he for him it was I didn't get in the way of him learning in a way, and so he
Nice.
enjoyed it, and so he stayed, and now he loves it. He's very happy, and I'm really really I'm happy restaurateur because I'm able to leave the restaurant and knowing that my customers, my employees, they're gonna get taken care of,
Yeah,
because
they're taken care of and they love the food. Let's face it, it's really simple, but the best ingredients possible, right? The San Marzano tomatoes,
yeah,
the type of just cheese that you use, right?
buffalo
Buffalo
mozzarella,
mozzarella,
yeah, and the organic
right?
flour, just always looking for product that they are better, for you and better, taste better and they're healthier, to be able to make always better product, better pizza.
Let's talk about 90-second uh, pizza. What is
Yeah.
that? I mean, it's like it's
90
fast food
seconds.
pizza. Wow. Go ahead.
90 seconds. There's a lot of fast food concept in America, with all kinds of stuff. Also with pizza, But
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, here in DC, they have a pizza called M Pizza, which is it's
Yeah.
like toast. They put it through the machine, they put some stuff on there, they get it to this toast, and they call pizza. Which pizza. There's no bad pizza really. All pizza is
No.
good, and there's better pizza. All pizza is good, but it's real pizza too. If you ever have the real pizza, then you say, well, the other one then not as good. But so I wanted to create something that it will be in my stand of quality that people can afford it. Let's say the Canale, the average pizza is like from Margherita from 14 to like almost $28 a pizza, personal pizza
Right.
per person, which it's a full meal, which is
Right.
good. And I wanted to sell it, more affordable, So I went with 4 years ago with the $9.99. You make your own pizza. So this new technology came out with this pizza oven, which they computerize. You could put the heat that you want it, and it goes around. So you put the pizza, and then by the time it comes around, it's ready. So between that and technology like computer system, point of sale, that you don't have to have a cashier. People go in there, order their own, in the terminal, and the pizza goes in the screen, gets made. So when it goes in the screen, the guys already have open pizza, put sauce, goes in the oven, 90 seconds, comes out. And
Wow.
it's been a beautiful success because it's an excellent pizza. The only
Wow. And I
difference
go ahead.
it's that I'm not using buffalo mozzarella here. I'm using Wisconsin mozzarella, which is top the line mozzarella, and everything else is from Italy, the tomato and the flour. But because we don't have the
Wow.
service in that, there's no service at all. It's all
Yeah.
manufacturing and retailing, just with the machinery.
Do you ever think of expanding in other parts of the country, like out here where we are in California?
Well, right now I have 3 more in the burner. I'm opening 3 more stores in DC, which I'm picking
Wow.
really strategic, prime locations in DC, which they're going to be open. One is going to be probably in about 2 weeks, one probably in about 3-4 months, another one about the end of the year, maybe around October, November.
Hmm.
I'm gonna see how they go. Then we'll have a full location. I'm gonna see in which neighborhood they do better, and then eventually, hopefully, I want to see how my employees, because I don't really want it to be very much involved. I've been very involved with us building the concept, but I want to see how it comes off of that. I want to see,
Yeah.
look the numbers, look the people that I got there, see who wants to take the leader, and push them to to do some whatever, open for everything, franchise, and whatever.
Franchise, very smart. Tell me the concept behind A Modo Mio, my way.
Oh,
Because that you opened, I believe, what, during the pandemic, right? 2020?
right, yeah, 2 years ago, right in
That's
2020.
bold. That's
October.
bold. Tell us about that briefly.
Well, I, before, like I've been in business, I opened my first restaurant was the name was Joe's Place Pizza and Subs
Right.
in 1978.
Right.
I took that concept to, but 78 to 19, in 2001, I had 5 restaurants at that time
Right.
called Joe's Place Pizza and Pasta. There was another concept. And, through my divorce and then blah, 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 I was working too much. I closed them and, I had left the 2 of them. One was my brother-in-law, which we closed it 3 years ago. And one was my brother, which he's older than me. And the pandemic, because we had a buffet, the pandemic getting knocked out of business. We try all those things, the
Right.
sidewalk pickup, all that kind of stuff. We were losing money, while we were open. And then, because I had a successful, Il Canale concept, so I wanted to, do a sister concept.
Got it.
And I called my chef that he helped me to open Il Canale, 10 years ago. I told him, that, I'm thinking about changing one of my Joe's Place, the last Joe's Place to, sort of a Neapolitan pizza. And he was very interesting. And so he came and with his help, we facelifted the location. And it was really, really hard, believe me, in October, 20, we, when, 50% capacity, all outside, and then the numbers were not matching, the operation was really require enough labor to function. And, but slowly but surely, one customer at a time, everybody was coming back. And, now we, I think, build up from year number 2, number 3. We profitable. We became profitable pretty much in the middle of last year.
What is the most fun about what you do, Joe?
The most fun for me, what I do is see my customers happy. They thank me to be able to provide that for them, and my employees very loyal. I have, beautiful, loyal people that people working for me for many years. I pay them well, I don't, and I put them on bonus. All my hourly employees, not the waiters, all the salary and hourly employees, they're all in bonus. So I take 20% of my profit of the restaurant and I give it to them, every, some of my management once every 30 days, and my kitchen every quarter. I'm not like one of those restaurants that you come to work for me and promise you a profit, blah, 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 at the end of the year, then I'll forget about it and I don't have it, They see like a little nice check, different, depending how much they make, what position. They see it, bonus check, some of them every month, some every quarter.
You've been such a delight to talk to. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience, to say to your customers, or to say to someone who's interested in starting up a business? Anything you'd like to add?
Well, what I want to say that this business, I was talking to Joe, your previous interviewer, that it looks fun from the outside. I'm walking around. Everybody, when I'm in the restaurant, I'm important. Everybody wants to talk to Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey, yeah, this, yeah. And people think that's it's great.
Yeah.
It is, that keeps me in the game, that keeps me in the game, the excitement and the attention. But before this, there was a lot of, work, a lot of, trying to make the payroll, trying to make the rent, trying to make, make sure that you can give a little raise, before you lose the employee versus, and work a little harder, maybe stay an extra hour open. So maybe you pick up a few more customers, there was all that before that, and, but, this is a high percentage of people don't make it in this business, that it loses money, very small percentage, a good percentage to make a living. It's a job. A smaller percentage and they make some money. A really tiny percentage to make a lot of money. So just like everything else.
What are the folks saying when you go back home to Sicily? They must all be quite proud of you.
Yeah, they're very proud of me. For them,
Yeah.
I'm the local. They went to America and they made it, and
Yeah.
so they're really that high respect.
So many of these wonderful stories, though, in your book. I really would like people to pick up this book because it's not just about your successes. It's about everything. It's about the entire journey from starting in Italy and Sicily and getting on the Michelangelo and the awe-inspiring. But I love the fact that you sprinkled in real life. It's not just about pizza, even though your book is called My Name is Joe and I am a Pizza Man. Because you may be an incredible chef, but at the end of the day, you are a pizza man, right? Yeah. And it's pizza where you found your success, not just in business, right, but in life too, which is why this is such a wonderful book. I'm so grateful to have had you on our show today. I really am. You're such a delight.
I am grateful too that you was able to have me in your show.
You're so interesting. And I look forward to coming to one of your restaurants, particularly, the one in Georgetown. I love it there. Yeah. And I really, really do. So thanks so much for joining us. Enjoy Naples, Florida. Have a great time down in Florida. Enjoy your time there. And thank you, everyone, for joining our show with Joe. And please find our shows on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram. And then, of course, the audio version of our show on Apple Podcasts, on iHeartRadio, on Amazon, anywhere that you get your podcast, just put us in there. Little Italy Podcast, Deborah Kobylt Live. You wanted to say something, Joe? Go ahead.
I just want to say that my book's available on Amazon. In a couple of weeks, he copy, what do you call it? He copy, which will be, you don't have to get the whole hard copy, and it's really more about $7, I think. And it'll be available in about a week or so.
I'm glad you mentioned that. How about on your website? You want to give a shout out to the website too?
I have Joe Farruggio Facebook, and then also Instagram, Joe Farruggio. You can follow me. We're doing things and see what do we do. Bring everything an update of what's happening with me in the real world.
Yeah, and the restaurants. But please do pick up the book. I love it. I also love the cover. It's an adorable cover of you just taking in the smells of the pizza that you clearly just took out of the oven. It's really just says so much.
I was going to put if you turn around, the art in the back. A friend of mine, I say, I wanted to, can you create something? And he created the artwork for me. I was going to put that in there, but.
Right, the discus thrower, but instead in the back, people, when you pick up the book, so please do, you're the discus of pizza. Is that not correct? Yeah. I love that. It's just adorable. It is adorable. That's you, Joe. That is you.
Yes. John Carlos, the artist, did that.
Absolutely wonderful. So please pick up the book. My name is Joe, and I am a pizza man. And I hope that you enjoyed our interview because we really got to know you and some of your struggles and great successes. And for that, I think you are really pretty tremendous. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. My name is Deborah Kobylt, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.